Russians are known for their love of vodka, passion for tea, setting a world record for having 67 children, and peculiar customs such as bathing in ice holes, or men once being taxed for wearing a beard. Situated between the continents of Asia and Europe, Russia is home to many peculiarities. Let's explore the 25 strangest facts about the country with the largest land area on the planet. Number 25, Alaska. USA used to belong to Russia. Surely many of you here are familiar with Alaska, but did you know that Alaska was once part of Russia? The vast and mighty Russian Empire expanded westward into what is now the United States before the British did. In the 19th century, Alaska was a bustling trading center for Russia. On March 30th, 1876, Russia sold Alaska to the United States for a relatively cheap price of 7.2 million USD, equivalent to 4.74 USD per square kilometer. This value is equivalent to 118 million USD at today's rates. Despite the bargain price of about 2 cents per acre, the purchase of Alaska was ridiculed by Congress and the press as Seward's folly, but later recognized as one of the most valuable land acquisitions in U.S. history. After acquiring Alaska, the United States benefited greatly from its gold and mineral resources. 50 years after purchasing Alaska, the amount the U.S. earned increased 100-fold. Today, Alaska is the largest state in the United States by area, and has the lowest population density. Number 24. Russians are extremely superstitious. Although they are very friendly. Another interesting fact about Russia is that, in general, Russians tend to be superstitious and traditional. One of the most common superstitions is giving flowers in odd numbers. Many Russians believe that even numbers of flowers are only appropriate for funerals. If you give a Russian an even number of flowers, they will refuse to accept them. In addition to not giving even numbers of flowers, Russians also believe that you should not put on clothes inside out. If you put on clothes inside out, Russians believe you will be hit when you go outside. Moreover, they have the habit of patting a dog's head with their left hand, and believe that to succeed in a wish, you need to throw a coin into the boot of Peter the Great. Another superstition is choosing a house location based on ancient beliefs. They believe that the first person to enter a new house will be the first to die, so they often let a cat enter the house first. If the cat does not enter, they will demolish the house and build a new one. What do you think of the Russian superstitions? Please comment below and share your thoughts. Number 23. Fuel pipeline 6 times the circumference of the Earth. Russia has the world's largest natural gas reserves, and to export this energy source, Russia has used pipelines that stretch 259,993 kilometers. Meanwhile, the circumference of the Earth is only 40,075 kilometers. So, with this length, the pipelines could circle the planet 6 times. Number 22. Don't mess with Russian bears. Currently, there are an estimated 200,000 brown bears worldwide. The largest population is in Russia with about 120,000 bears, while the United States has about 32,500 bears and Canada has about 21,750 bears. The number of brown bears in Russia exceeds that of any other country. According to RBTH, the Kamchatsky Nature Reserve in southern Kamchatka, Russia, has the highest density of brown bears in the world. There are about 2,000 bears in a relatively small area. However, if you go to Russia and encounter a brown bear, do not joke with this type of bear because they are extremely dangerous. They may look friendly, but they can attack humans at any time. Number 21. The strange appearance of the Mir mine in Russia. In a remote corner of Siberia, the Mir diamond mine has provided a large number of diamonds that contributed to the construction of the Soviet Union. The Mir mine is a naturally occurring diamond mine located in Mirny, Russia. The mine is 525 meters deep and has a diameter of 1,600 meters. During peak years of production, it is estimated that the Mir mine provided over 10 million carats of diamonds annually, of which 20% were gem-quality stones. What is especially remarkable is that, when looking at the images, the towns around this diamond mine inadvertently become insignificant compared to this deep pit. Mir has become the second largest hole on the Earth's surface. The mouth of the deep hole has created an enormous and terrifying suction force, pulling even helicopters into it. Number 20. Lake Kiche. the world's most dangerous death lake. Do you find the image of this lake as beautiful as a painting? Please comment below and share your thoughts on this lake's image. However, despite its beauty, few people know that Russia's picturesque Lake Kechi is a death lake capable of killing anyone standing around it within 5 minutes. The lake has a deep blue color that appears serene, but it actually harbors many dangers. The reason is that Lake Kechi, located in the southwestern region of Chelyabinsk, Russia, is within the area of the Mayak Production Association, one of the largest nuclear facilities, with the highest levels of radioactive leakage. According to a report from the World Watch Institute based in Washington, D.C., Lake Kechi is ranked as the most polluted lake on the planet. The level of radiation measured here is 4.44 xcal, which is nearly equivalent to the total amount distributed over a larger area after many years following the Chernobyl disaster. Therefore, experts have warned people not to approach Lake Kechi to avoid painful deaths. Along with this, local authorities have decided to seal off the lake, turning Kechi into a coffin with massive concrete blocks. Number 19. Foxes are a popular pet in Russia. In 1959, Soviet scientists Dmitry Belyaev and Lyudmila Trut conducted an experiment at the Akademgorodok Research Center near Novosibirsk. Their goal was to find a method to make foxes obedient and loyal like dogs. Starting with Dr. Dmitry Belyaev, who pioneered the raising of silver foxes as pets due to their many dog-like traits. From 1959 until now, Russian scientists have continued this trend. The Institute of Cytology and Genetics still accepts foxes as pets, but these foxes also look quite adorable, don't they? Number 18. Ice hole swimming. This tradition may seem terrifying to foreigners, but it's quite normal in Russia. On January 19th every year, Russians often hold a unique festival that not everyone is willing to participate in, which is immersing themselves in icy holes. Thousands of people plunge into the cold water with the belief that it will cleanse their souls and provide them with robust health for the entire year. Meanwhile, many others engage in this tradition simply to overcome their own selves. Due to the majority of rivers and lakes freezing over, authorities actively drill holes to create large ice holes for people to dive into under the close supervision of rescue teams. Would you dare to jump into these ice holes for a swim? Leave a comment below with your thoughts. Number 17. The average Russian consumes over 18 liters of alcohol each year. From tea to alcohol, does anyone here like drinking vodka? Please share your thoughts in the comments because Russians are extremely fond of drinking alcohol, especially vodka. The word vodka originates from the Russian word voda, meaning water. Whenever Russia is mentioned, vodka is often associated with it, as Russians treat vodka like water. Perhaps for this reason, 25% of the Russian population dies before the age of 55, while the percentage of deaths due to alcohol in the US is only 1%. According to research, the average Russian consumes over 18 liters of alcohol each year. Moreover, during times of economic inflation, many schools even decided to pay teachers with bottles of vodka. I must emphasize that this is an average figure because some people don't drink as much, while others drink more than 18 liters of alcohol per year. This figure is double the amount of alcohol that doctors consider safe for the body. Not only do Russians have a liking for vodka, but they also have a fondness for beer. What's peculiar is that before 2013, Russians didn't consider beer to be an alcoholic beverage. Each Russian consumes a significant amount of beer daily. It is estimated that over 500,000 people die annually from alcohol-related illnesses. Number 16. Russia has up to 9 time zones. Russia is the largest country in the world, covering 1/9 of the Earth's land area, with a population of over 145 million people living on its vast territory. Moreover, Russia is even larger than a planet, because with a surface area of 17 million square kilometers, Russia is larger than Saturn, which is 16.6 million square kilometers in size. Known as the country with the largest land area in the world, spanning both Europe and Asia. Hence, this country has up to 9 time zones, which significantly affects economic activities here. Russia used to have 11 time zones, but since 2010, the country has decided to reduce the number of time zones to 9 for the convenience of work and communication across the nation. However, even so, Russia still holds the title for having the most time zones in the world. Number 15. Russia has the longest railway in the world. In Russia, the Trans-Siberian Railway is the longest single railway line in the world with a total length of 9,289 kilometers. You can use the train to explore around Russia, and the Trans-Siberian Railway will help you achieve this. Every year, the railway industry in Russia serves about 1.08 billion passengers and 1.2 billion tons of cargo, which is indeed a large number, isn't it? Additionally, the railway line connects with branches in Mongolia and China. Therefore, you can travel from the capital, Moscow of Russia, to the capital, Beijing in China. The diverse and developed railway system has helped build strong transportation infrastructure for Russia, bringing many benefits to the country. One of the great things about having a dense subway system in Russia is that it makes it easier for local residents and tourists to travel. There's a train to almost everywhere you want to go. Number 14. Men with beards were taxed. This world has a plethora of peculiar taxes. Do you know any strange taxes? Feel free to comment and let me know. Before Peter the Great seized power in the 16th century, a special tax called the beard tax existed in Russia. Anyone who decided to let their beard grow during this period was required to pay a tax. This idea rose in the mind of Peter the Great after he embarked on a journey to visit Europe and discovered that many developed countries didn't have the tradition of growing beards. To make his people look cleaner shaven, he decided to levy taxes on those who grew beards. He empowered the police to forcibly shave those who refused to pay the tax. Number 13. Cats are guardians of the museum. The largest museum in Russia, the Hermitage in St. Petersburg, employs about 70 cats as working staff. They are kept protecting the museum's artifacts from the destruction of mice. The museum has a separate press release for the cats, and 3 people play the role of caretakers. The cats live in the basement of the museum, and they also appear on the embankment and square in the summer. In past eras, they roam through the museum's exhibition rooms. They're hired to protect priceless works of art from mouse infestations, and are highly valued by all museum staff. Each cat even has its own personal passport with a photo, and receives regular wages. Would you like to visit this museum to see the cats? Comment your thoughts below. Whether you believe it or not, there's a rather peculiar fact about these cats. One of the Hermitage cats, Achilles, seems to be able to predict the outcome of football matches. His fortune-telling ability first surfaced in 2017 during the CAF Confederations Cup. During the FIFA World Cup 2018 held in Russia, Achilles accurately predicted the winning teams in 4 matches by choosing from 2 food bowls with the flags of the teams in front of them. Number 12. Russians are tea drinkers. Do any of you here like drinking tea? Please comment and let me know, because you must come to Russia to enjoy tea. Here, Russians drink a lot of hot tea. They can drink 5 to 10 cups of tea each day. Usually people drink black tea with sugar, but nowadays, many people prefer green tea or black tea without sugar. When gathering with friends, they often buy some sweets to accompany the tea. It's like a tradition, and it's wonderful in winter when you want something hot to warm you up. Vodka is an extremely popular alcoholic beverage in Russia and many countries around the world. The name of this liquor originates from the Russian word voda, which means water. As for beer, until 2013 in Russia, beer was not considered an alcoholic beverage. Russians drink twice as much alcohol as Americans. On average, each Russian drinks 6.3 cups of alcohol per week, compared to 3.3 cups for Americans. Do you think there's any country where people drink more alcohol than Russia? Share your thoughts with us. Number 11. The first human in space was Russian. That was Yuri Gagarin. He was a Soviet pilot and cosmonaut. He was credited as the first human in history to complete a spaceflight on April 12, 1961, aboard the Vostok 1 spacecraft. He spent 108 minutes in space before returning to Earth, landing in Kazakhstan. Gagarin's spaceflight was a triumph for the Soviet space program, and he became a national hero. Famous worldwide, newspapers around the globe published his biography and details of the spaceflight. Russians are very proud of the Soviet Union's success in space exploration. Every small city has its own space museum, and many streets are named to honor Yuri Gagarin. To this day, Russia remains one of the leading countries in the field of aerospace. The International Space Station has 2 official languages, English and Russian. Number 10. The world's busiest metro system. On average, there are up to 9 million people using the subway to commute every day, more than the total number of users in London and New York combined. Moscow's metro system also has the highest ridership compared to all other subway systems in the world, with 3.2 billion people traveling annually on 12 lines connecting 172 stations. Beyond its transportation significance, the Moscow Metro is one of Russia's most magnificent architectural feats. The country's finest architects and talented artists participated in designing and decorating the grandiose Moscow metro stations underground. Do you find the images of the Moscow subway beautiful? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Number 9. Russia has a large gender imbalance. The gender imbalance in favor of females in Russia will persist for decades and show little improvement. The gender imbalance in Russia is evident in the number of women outnumbering men by about 11 million. Specifically, in 2019, for every 1,000 Russian men, there were up to 1,154 women. It is predicted to increase significantly in the coming years. Additionally, Russia recorded a gender ratio in 2021 of 121 women over 18 years old for every 100 men of the same age. According to demographic experts, the gender imbalance in Russia is due to the high mortality rate among the male population, with around 10% of the workforce leaving Russia in 2022, many of whom are young men. The gender imbalance is considered even more severe, notably by the age of 60. For every Russian man, there are up to 2 women. The average life expectancy for men in Russia is 63 years, lower than men in North Korea or Iraq, while the average life expectancy for Russian women is up to 75 years. Number 8. The coldest inhabited place in the world. Oymyakon village in eastern Siberia is known as the coldest inhabited place on Earth. Its name means unfrozen water due to the nearby hot spring. The city was originally a destination for reindeer herders, who would bring their herds to the spring to drink water. On February 6, 1933, the weather station here recorded a temperature drop to minus 67.7 degrees Celsius. The record for the coldest temperature was recorded in 1938 at minus 77.8 degrees Celsius. The average temperature in December and January is minus 50 degrees Celsius. In winter, there are only about 3 hours of daylight, with thick snow covering the surroundings. However, activities still continue normally in this harsh environment. The population in this village is not large, about 500 people. Many legends warn that just standing in Oymyakon for 5 minutes can cause your eyelashes to freeze. Despite such cold weather, the people living in this village are considered to be among the longest lived. The first reason is that they enjoy clean air and extremely pure water. The second reason is their extremely healthy diet. Number 7. Setting a world record in childbirth. Do you believe that any woman gave birth to 67 children? Try commenting on your opinion because this is true. In the 18th century, a lucky Russian mother gave birth to a total of 16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets, totaling 69 children in 40 years with the same man. This woman's name was Valentina Vasilyeva, a peasant in the Shuya province, and her husband was Fyodor Vasilyev. Surprisingly, after Valentina, her good-breeding husband had another 18 children with his second wife. In total, he produced 87 offspring, of which 82 survived and were healthy. The couple lived in the Russian Empire during a period when society still had a feudal system, and Valentina became a peasant during this period. The lives of peasants in Russia were extremely harsh, which is also why peasant families wanted to have as many children as possible, because they believed that the more children they had, the more labor they would have. Number 6. Russians rent ambulances to get around quickly. There's a fact that Russians are extremely quirky, as they do things that will make you gasp in surprise. For example, in 1908, the Russian Royal Olympic team arrived late in London by 12 days and missed the Olympic Games. The reason given was that Russia hadn't bothered to switch to using the Western calendar, so they defaulted to the old calendar when scheduling the event. Surprisingly, to this day, about 1/3 of Russians still believe that the sun revolves around the earth. On the other hand, many wealthy Russians with eccentric tastes rent fake ambulances to get around quickly, avoiding waiting at red lights. These ambulances are said to have luxurious interiors and use sirens to gain priority on the road, helping the renters, mostly wealthy businessmen, travel through congested areas more easily than regular cars. Number 5. National Conception Day. This is a holiday in Russia, also known as Conception Day or Birth Rate Day. It takes place on September 12th every year and is popular in the Ulyanovsk region, the homeland of leader Lenin. This day is for Russian workers to take time off to conceive children, and has been effective because in June every year, the birth rate in Russia is higher than in other months. This is a unique initiative by Sergei Morozov, the governor of Ulyanovsk Oblast, the homeland of Vladimir Putin. Morozov introduced this day in hopes of improving the significantly declining population in the region. Accordingly, if after about 9 months, any resident of Ulyanovsk gives birth on Russia's National Day, on June 12th, they will be rewarded with cars, refrigerators, cash, and many other prizes. Number 4. Hanging carpets on walls. Russians often hang carpets on walls. This habit dates to the past, when Russian walls were made very thin and sounds from neighboring houses could be easily heard. Therefore, Russians tend to hang carpets on walls to absorb sound and avoid disturbing neighbors. In addition, this habit is also influenced by the cultures of the Caucasus, Uzbekistan, and still exists today. Number 3. Russian is not the only spoken language. Russia is so vast that it has 35 official languages in various local regions, along with Russian. Many Russians are also surprised by this fact. Of course, Russian is the most common. However, according to the Ministry of Science and Higher Education, Russians speak at least 270 languages and dialects. Whether that number is accurate or not, there are certainly many languages used in Russia. They include major foreign languages such as German and English, and languages originating from Russia such as Tatar, Chuvash, Koryak, and Chechen. There are also some endangered languages such as Veps and Koryak. In Russia, the least common language in the world is Tersami. Currently, only 2 people on the Kola Peninsula use this language. Number 2. Russia has many green spaces and clean water. Did you know that 1/5 of the world's trees are in Russia? That's 643 billion trees, the largest amount of greenery any country could dream of having. About 45% of the country's land area is covered by vegetation, most of which is in the northern forests or taiga of Russia. These dense forests were once completely covered by ice sheets and are now home to countless brave species, including Siberian tigers, wild boars, eagles, and owls. Unfortunately, these forests face threats from deforestation and wildfires, so organizations are doing their best to protect them. Additionally, Russia has plenty of fresh water. In Siberia, you'll find Lake Baikal. Not only is this the deepest lake in the world, but it also contains about 20% of the world's fresh water. Being located in this frigid region of Russia, the lake regularly freezes over in winter, meaning you can even drive across its surface. Number 1. Matryoshka dolls originated from Japan. Do you know about this famous Russian doll? Feel free to comment if you like them or not. It is thought that the Matryoshka doll is a symbol of Russia and originated from the country, but it has a story behind it. The famous Russian wooden doll, Matryoshka, actually has a connection to Japan. The story goes that Russian artist Sergei Malyutin, who was designing a wooden doll, was given a Daruma doll from Japan, inside of which were hidden smaller dolls. This became an inspiration for Sergei Malyutin. The first Matryoshka doll, consisting of 8 dolls of different sizes, was made in the 1890s by master wood doll maker Zinaida Malyutina, who used Sergei Malyutin's drawings. So, we have explored the 25 weirdest things about Russia. What do you think about the facts I shared above, or have you visited Russia yet? Remember to comment and share your thoughts with me. Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on our latest videos. See you in the next videos.